Good morning. Adina Sullivan here at Q16 here at the Q Live stage. We are on the last day of the conference, and I have the great pleasure of being here with our closing keynote speaker, Pearl Arredondo.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
We're so happy to have you. Now, you are currently principal of San Fernando Institute of Applied Media. Did I get that right?
Yes, you got that right.
Excellent, excellent. So, you got a chance to be here a little bit yesterday. So, how are you feeling about things are going here at the conference?
I'm really loving the energy, the amount of educators here that are just sharing and collaborating. It's just rejuvenating, I think, to go back and be like pumped up. I want to implement all these new things now.
Yeah, and that's you come out here with like, I have all these ideas
Yes.
I now want to do in my classroom and make things better, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
So, you had the privilege and honor of opening a school that was new and different. Tell us about that process. What is this like?
So being the first pilot middle school can be challenging because at a time when things weren't being done differently, it's scary. People are afraid. They're not sure if it's going to work. We weren't sure if it was going to work, but we had to try something different. We kept doing the same thing and we weren't getting any better results. And so it was completely teacher-driven, and having the teachers at the forefront making the decisions, that's made the biggest impact because they're the ones in the trenches every day. They're the ones face-to-face with students, and who better to make those decisions than them?
And you, as someone who was a classroom teacher, understands this very well. You know what's happening and wanting to have input on what your school's going to be like.
Right, and being able to have input on not only the curriculum, but how do you assess students? And how do you measure what you're doing, and is it working?
Right. So when you're starting something new, of course, everything goes beautifully, and no one has, anything negative to say, but they all just go right along with the plan, right?
Right. I just wish that it were like that.
So what really happened when you went to put this into place?
We got a lot of pushback from the community in terms of, what's going to happen to half the students or the other students. And, the reality is we wanted to take the entire school. And the school board just didn't award us all of it. And so we just were awarded a part. But we are co-located, so we're still on the same campus. And we really do try to mesh both worlds, and we're trying to elevate the campus. It's not just us.
Now, you're working with a lot of students who, they have some challenges in life.
Yes,
they're working with a lot of things. What are some of the misconceptions folks have about working with those students?
I think some of the misconceptions are definitely trying to lower the bar, trying to say, well, they don't have all the resources, so let's try to simplify everything. When really we need to be looking at different options. We need to be showing them how to be resilient. So if you can't do it this way and take that path like everybody else, then find a different way of doing it. And empowering them to see that they can't be just victims of their circumstance. And we are fighting poverty, but there's ways around it, and there's ways of breaking that cycle. And unless it's coming from us, I don't see it happening.
So how are you bringing students and parents into this? How are they a part of this whole process?
So we host a lot of workshops for parents in how do you navigate the educational system? How do you communicate with your children? How do you help them when you don't know the language? And that has been a really big success for us because now parents feel a lot more welcome to come into schools. They feel empowered to say, you know what, my child is in this class and he really needs to be in a more advanced class. And that's good. That's what we want, our parents to be advocates for their kids and feel comfortable.
And I work with a lot of those families as well, a slightly different part of the state, but I don't think folks realize that sometimes it's not because parents don't want to be a part of it. They don't know how.
They don't know how.
Or culturally it's different.
Right, and I'm yet to find a parent who doesn't want their child to be successful. It's just about how do they do that in a different country? Mm-hmm. How do they do that when they don't speak the language? And making sure that you're hosting those workshops in their native language so that they can understand and they can see what it's like to even be in a different country completely and still have that success.
So for some teachers, they may not necessarily be in a school that is their entire population, but they may have one or two students that they really want to be able to address. What are some of the best ways that teachers can really support those kind of students who need a little someone to stand up for them?
I think the best way is get to know them. Get to know their story, get to know their struggle, and share yours. Because everybody has a story. Everyone has struggled along the way, and when you start to share that with students, they see that it's not just them. and they see that, they can overcome these obstacles and they can make it. And so once you bridge that relationship with them, then you start to see how you can help them. And it's not about making excuses for them or letting them make excuses for themselves, but making sure that you're showing them different options.
Is there anything that you think now, looking back, oh, I would do that differently?
I think I definitely would have reached out to more of the higher ups in the school district before launching this new project and making sure that we had everybody on the same page, because I think it was very grassroots, and we were missing that piece. And so once we were in implementation, it was kind of hard to connect those dots.
So now you've had to kind of make that up.
Yes.
Pearl, thank you so much for being here and joining us. I'm
Thank
really looking
you.
forward to your keynote this
Me too.
afternoon. And I think it's so important that we're meeting the needs of all of our students and
Yes.
finding ways to support everybody.
Yes, and that's what it's about, because they're kids. They can't wait for us to figure it out. We have to do it while they're here.
They're our bottom line. That's
Yes.
what we're here for. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So this has been Adina Sullivan. We're here at Q Live for Q16. Enjoy your day.